Getting what you want, as it turns out, is not always what you need. And in my particular case, that was exactly what happened. My journey had begun in a worn-down chapel in a sea of mist, and following a disagreeable encounter with a shivering mountain of sickening meat. I came upon the lush fields of Limgrave. With it came a crushing desire to somehow mend these broken lands. What happened from that point, however, could best be described as torment and loss. After a journey that never seemed to end, which took me to the fiery depths of hell itself and barren and rot-infected wastelands, I got involved in a scheme to burn the sacred Erd tree.
This world is in dire need of repair.
And return to an ashen capital. Here I claimed my throne, but as I was about to realize, attaining your goal, no matter how much you suffered doing so, does not necessarily equal happiness, nor peace within. I truly thought I could make things right in this wretched world of perpetual hurt. Yet, I wasn't even able to force my own citizens to clear the mess they'd made. I might have gained control over the once glorious capital, but nothing changed. Nothing whatsoever. Much to my dismay, most of the remaining locals didn't even bother to greet me with the amount of humility and thankfulness my trials had justified. These vermin weren't civilized city dwellers after all. They were nothing but ungrateful peasants. This unexpectedly sad turn of events, or rather, lack of events, began to tear me to pieces. It polluted my mind with gloom, and I fell into an uneasy slumber, containing nothing but distant cries of friends long lost.
Just let me die.
I spent decades contemplating the sad state of affairs, without being able to muster as much as 1 ounce of strength. I had become a prisoner, sitting on a throne of lies. Then, what felt like eons later, I awoke from my nightmarish slumber in the dead of night. There was nothing here. Everything had been an illusion. My reign had achieved nothing. The capital remained a grave, and the Erd tree itself was still burning far above me, and would keep doing so for all eternity. I slowly got to my feet, felt the weight of my aging body, and the pain in my weary bones. I left the capital behind, knowing very well that I would never return. Thus, I began my long and difficult quest for what? I did not even know, but this claustrophobic cell of emptiness couldn't be my final resting place. It just couldn't. I began searching the lands between for something else. I didn't know what I was yearning for, but my restless heart forced me to visit the few remaining survivors, whom I knew to be insightful. For weeks, I studied the ancient volumes of despicable Gideon, and even palavered with the depraved sorceress, trying to pry anything of use out of that broken mind of hers. It gave me nothing. I ended up wandering alone through the consecrated snowfields, listening woefully to the wind, and slowly removing all of my clothing. I wanted nothing but to give in to the cold. I just wanted to sleep. What was that? Just as I was about to embrace the blinding void all around me, I came upon a curious artifact from olden times, and something forgotten within me trembled, as I laid my hand upon the blood-stained stone. Where was I? I had been transported into a dark cave, and felt a strange warmth soothe my aching body. As I walked blindly farther into the darkness, a remote part of my mind whispered to me, "Surely this is nothing but a dead end, you delusional fool." Yet, I kept going. I couldn't turn back now. There was nothing for me back there. By the gods, I'd seen that monumental temple long ago, floating distantly in the sky as a mirage. But this time, it was within reach.